Hello, everyone, and welcome to StripJourney, a podcast about the strip dance style where I interview choreographers and dancers from around the world in order to spread awareness. Strip is a young, up-and-coming dance style where we dance on platform heels, so-called strips, and the style mostly relies on floor work. My name is Morana, I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark, and I have been learning this dance style for the last few years. And I thought it would be great to provide the community with more information on the dance teachers and places to find them, as well as to learn more about the style itself, given that there is very little information in English as of yet. So whether you come from dance, pole dance, or have seen some of these amazing dancers taking the World of Dance competition stages recently and would like to learn more, welcome. Let's go on a journey. Welcome to the first episode of the podcast StripJourney. For my first guest, I'm very happy to be taking you to California, USA, to talk with my friend and teacher, Elena Smith.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'm really stoked to be the first guest in your podcast. For me, it's an honor. And I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, I should be the one that's nervous because this is the first time I'm doing it. But for me, what is important is that I've known you for a long time and I've learned a lot about the dance from you and also about the history of the dance and a lot of different things. So I thought for me, it of course made the most sense. But as I said, I know you, but others don't know you. So maybe I can ask you to just quickly introduce yourself.
For sure. My name is Elena Smith. I've been dancing more than 13 years. I've been teaching frame up and floor work dance more than 10 years.
Wow.
Exactly this year, in the decade. Right now, I'm in the United States, California, trying to teach frame up and floor work, and you can call it strip dance.
Yeah, I guess it's a complicated thing, right? There is a lot of different names. There's a lot of different styles. But you said 13 years. Can you tell me a little bit about this start?
Yeah, I will try to be pretty short because it's a long story. So I started dancing pretty late. I graduate university. I start working as an engineer, and I really love my job. It was pretty interesting. I was well-paid engineer, but one day, by some coincidence, I was in a frame-up competition. It was second, and I fell in love in this style.
Wow.
I remember amazing showcase by Yuraskina. She did a piano with her legs, and she put different colors, black and white colors, type on the girls, and they basically bend their leg when the piano is played. And I'm like, this is genius. This is so easy, but it's so cool. So I immediately took a class. And in a few months, I started dancing in the Agny team. We did a casting. I went through this casting. We started practicing a lot. So I basically had two lives, an engineer life and a dancer life. During the day, I worked as an engineer. During the night, we did night rehearsal. I danced, so we prepared for a lot of competitions and so on. So I basically slept in the work few nights a week because I didn't have time to go back home. And one day I just realized that between two passions, engineering and dancing, the dancing is way more enjoyable for me. So I decided that I'm quitting well-paid job, really respectful, with a lot of connection, and I just want to start dancing. Things got till the moment when I already decided that I want to quit engineering job. I start teaching frame up. So yeah, I basically left a well-paid engineering job to dance teacher, some unpredictability work, I think. But I'm happy. I'm still happy with my choice. I'm really enjoy what I'm doing.
Wow, that's quite a start. But so you said you joined Agny, and Agny, as far as I know, was the first team that was made at the time.
But let me tell you a few details. So Agny team, this is art group of Nastya Yurakova. That's why Agny. She did first team. They even did one show together, but something didn't went well. I'm not sure what exactly, but inside it wasn't really good connection. And she just basically crashed and burned, and she decided that she doesn't want a team. But in a few months, she's like, oh no, I want to do competition. And I have all the students who really like your style because back then it was unique and different. And she's like, I want to do second Agny. Let's do the second perfect team. So she did a casting, and yes, I went through this casting. It wasn't easy, and it was a lot of people. And on the next day, when I saw my name in the Agny list, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. So that I went through. And so Agny team were pretty big. We even had a boy, or let's say a man, in our team first year. If you want to see like our earliest showcases, you can find him. Lately something happened and we just like stay just a girl. So basically 9 girls plus a trainer, 10 people, the Agni, people who was ready to do crazy stuff together, who was ready to do something who never did. So we worked a lot, but we took a lot of first prizes in competitions, and people start talking about us like, who is this? These girls on the hills? What? And of course, it cheered up us and it's motivate more and more. And we kind of felt the power that we are the people who is doing the history. And I left Agni team before the pandemic, almost the year before they stopped existing. So Agni team is not exist anymore, but it's a big, I think that it's a big history in the frame up style. And Agni team, we of course, Nastya was our trainer, but we helped, I want to say we collaborate after like a few years together. Everybody started bringing their thoughts, their ideas. So it was kind of collaboration, a lot of things we create together. And all my respect to Nastya, who keep us so motivated and so positive. But I want to say that being in a team, this is not just so amazing experience. It's also had some flaws or unpleasantly. We paid by our time. I didn't have a lot of time. I trained a lot. I worked as a dancer. We paid with our health because we did crazy tricks. We basically created tricks, and that's why I'm teaching Accra, and every time I'm telling, do it healthy, because we did a lot of mistakes, and almost all of us had some problems. Somebody had weak knee, some back problems, neck problems. So it's really because we didn't do it proper. We try to find, the right movement. And money. We were not really wealthy dancers because it's a lot of money in costumes, renting a dance hall, paying fees for competition, traveling to competition. So we basically worked for art. Yeah, we basically worked to make Frame Up famous and more recognizable.
And I think, I mean, that's definitely true. Agni is kind of the face of Frame Up. And so we can go back to YouTube, to the old videos, and try to find you in there,
for
right?
sure. Between 2013 maybe till 2019, on each show I was there.
Did you go to any competitions outside of Russia?
Yes, we went. First, our competition was as Agni team in Italy, in Rome. I forget exactly. So yeah, we went on the first competition. We showed our style to a lot of foreigner dancers, like Brian Friedman, who is Britney Spears choreographer, Mitch Noon, who is right now working with Dua Lipa, and so on. And they saw this and they were shocked. They're like, what is that? Of course, we were told. Then we won World of Dance in Russia, and we represent Russia in World of Dance 2018, I think, here in America. We took 11th place in 40. So I think for us at the start, it was really good. And World of Dance, it's more like hip hop dancers there, a little bit of contemporary. So we were out of the style, but we were stoked to see that people from different countries came to us and said, oh my God, we saw your show. It's so amazing. Wow, it's something new. So yeah, we compete outside of the Russian.
Before we move to your US days, can you tell me a bit about your own projects and work with your students? You said after you started teaching on your own, and so I'm guessing you had your own project.
Yeah, for sure. I've been teaching frame-up style back in Moscow in multiple schools. Also, I had my two team. It were beginners and intermediate level. The name was Dance Le and Le Qui. So we were in different competition. I really like do some showcases where I'm not a part. So I'm just kind of like the trainer, the coach behind it. We took first places in competition. I also was a dancer in a different showcases for TV shows, for some singers. But a lot of time I gave to Agny. I would say 60 or maybe even 70% of my time was Agny.
Nice. And then you moved to US, and then Corona hit.
Exactly. I moved to US. I haven't danced. Oh, but back in Russia, I want to say something really important. Back in Russia, I also recorded. I was the first frame-up teacher who recorded online course. And back then, when I represented, I knew that some people, some leaders in frame-up weren't really happy, and they were against the online teaching. They're like, no, it's wrong. It will not work. This is really bad. And I'm like, I don't understand. This is perfect. So when Corona hit, almost everybody started doing online. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, so I moved in the United States. I even started teaching in some dance school in Oakland. But then Corona hit, and we all were locked in the houses. I had a really small apartment back in Oakland, and I basically moved all furniture before each class to create some space. And it was the time when we met, actually. I remember that you sent me a long email, and I'm like, well, of course I want to practice with you. I'm really happy to spread it.
Because that was the thing you said. I mean, nobody was doing anything online. We could all watch these cool videos from competitions and similar, but it was really hard to find teachers that could do it. And I think Corona was in a bit of a way a blessing because people were forced to do it online. And I think the style spread quite a bit through that. And that kind of set up the basic that's happening right now when it's spreading much more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Corona was a key for a lot of stuff, and especially in the dance. When we start, like, really people start seeing more, paying attention, like, oh, wow, it's so different. It's so unique. And yeah, it kind of opened the door for online classes. So I start teaching online, personal and class, like, with a lot of bunch of students. I had a pretty cool dance class with locals, online class, and we did a big progress, I would say, because I had like regular classes. We learned every class, like new choreo, new treat, and I saw progress. I'm like, I'm so proud of everybody who is doing online class right now.
I can vouch at least that you're a very supportive teacher, which helps when you have, a dog beginner, such as myself, that shows up. Except one thing, and everybody please listen up. When you hear Elena say something is easy, it's probably
No,
not.
it's easy. Easy peasy.
Many of us that are your students, our main joke is this, yeah, it's easy, sure. So you started with classes and things, and that kind of kicked off for you because you kind of build a bigger online presence for your social media as well.
Yes, I just realized that people like the uniqueness of the style, that it's different, that whatever happening here in the United States, like floor work, one type, but this floor work frame-up style a little bit different. It's like more music involved, some tricks involved, some like different experimental stuff happening. So I started creating some online tutorial, and in the middle of the pandemic, we moved from Oakland to Palm Springs, still in California. So I had my own room, and I was able to create a lot of cool videos in this room, not moving all the furniture. So yeah, I started doing a lot of tutorials, oh my God, they took a lot of time for me. Like one tutorial could took from 1 to 8 hours of doing. But I were really happy. I was proud of them, and I were really happy that it helps, that it inspired people to do something, not just tricks, some simple movement, you know? I start growing my Instagram account and people start recognize me more. And I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. And I'm so happy that people like it, like really like it for its uniqueness. And plus 2 years ago, it was Exotic Generation competition in San Diego. And when I went there and performed, I was so happy to see that people like, oh, we know you. We saw you on Instagram. And I'm like, really? I was a little bit shy about it, but really happy that people like the style and like how it looks. Yeah, and I took the first place.
That was your first US
Yes, yeah, and I
competition, right?
really, till the end, I'm like, it can be anything because I don't know how Americans react to my style. I don't know, will they like, because it was still judges, like judges' opinion. I understand every time when you're going to some competition, don't think that this is subjective marks. It's more like judges mark. So I didn't take it so hard. I'm like, from first to last, I don't care. But of course, I was pretty pleased to have a first place in a floor work.
And I think it's also, again, just showing the different ways you can do floor work. And no matter what is the name, you can do a lot with the platform heel on the floor and not just acro, but this sharp and clean
Yes,
movements.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely agree. And a really good point that it's no matter how you call it. I see that people can call it strip plastic, strip dance, lower dance, frame up dance, but they kind of doing the same style. It is involved the same musicality, some tricks, some sharpness, some bounce, and so on. And more people in different states teaching the same style. Again, they can call it strip, not connecting with the taking off clothes. Yeah, I can see more and more people doing this style. And instead of calling just frame up, I start call it flow work, frame up dance style. So people more recognize, oh, flow work. Here in America says frame up. People like, is it a dance style? Are you sure? Nobody knows about it. Or really just limited amount of people. But when I start representing through flow work, people are like, oh, okay, now I can understand that it's on the flow work. Okay.
It's the same thing. It's still a young style. It's developing. This is why, at least myself as a student, I really like to take classes from all the different teachers because you can learn so much and there is so many different exciting ways to do things. And as mentioned, when you go back to actually creators of the styles, it's very little information in English. And this is one of the reasons why I reached out to you at the time. So it's great to be able to show it on different stages and at different competitions. You went to a competition and then kind of Corona was slowly petering out and you started teaching in person.
Yes, I started teaching in person and also giving workshops, which I was really happy because for me, online is really big deal. I know some people scared of online classes and they're like, oh my God, I don't understand what to do and how to do. I don't know, 90%, it's kind of the same like you in the class. Maybe even better because if you have a recording, you can play it again. You can ask the same question, do absolutely the same what you're doing in the class. Offline classes, in person, it's amazing too. This is just kind of lively vibe. Yes, you can exchange energy not through the screen. You can exchange energy in real life. And I was happy, yes, to teach personally and giving workshops. I've already taught in San Diego, New York, Los Angeles. And for me, it's such an honor to see how many people came. I'm like, oh my God, this is the biggest present ever. Yeah, so I'm teaching online and offline too.
Yeah, and I'm sure many of us that have learned online from you are looking forward to an opportunity to meet you in person.
And too, back in New York, I met the girl who we took classes 2 years ago in pandemic. And I'm like, oh my God, this is new universe happened because I saw her online every time. And when we met in real life, this is magic. All these years, so great to see in person. I would be happy to see everybody who took my classes online, offline too. It's really cool.
So after San Diego, LA, New York, are you planning any new cities? Where
Yes,
are you going to
I'm
next?
planning to go to pretty soon, actually, in almost in a week. I will be in Bay Area next to San Francisco. Unfortunately, I will not spend a lot of time in San Francisco this time, but maybe I'll be back in the fall in San Francisco. Actually, also in the fall, I want to go to Chicago with class. And maybe at the beginning of next year, I even go to Mexico.
Wow, that's a lot of plans. And any online
Yeah,
plans?
I finally.
I mean, I can only do online, so I'm
No,
asking
you
about
know, who
online.
knows? I hope I will soon. I'm like in the process of doing my papers, but I hope that next year I will be able to travel abroad. And I really want to do a few classes in Europe. So I really want to go
Ooh.
next year with a few classes in Europe, like just pick up some cities where people can came and do classes there. Yeah. But talk about online project. I'm in a process. Can you imagine? Because we just talked with Morana about it. I think 2 years already that I need to do my online course, and I finally start doing it. So I'm going to launch, I think, in the fall. I want to launch my frame up or flow work frame up for zero people who never dance, and for beginners, for people who are already familiar with movements and want to just do something more interesting and harder. And also, I want to do pro trick for beginners. It's supposed to be 3 courses. Probably they will be launched back by back, one by one. But yes, I want to do it in the fall and maybe even start my classes. Right now, I'm teaching just personal classes, but I know people will be back close to the fall. So I want to do like once a week a class where we're going to learn some choreography.
Like you used to do before. There was weekly classes.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. But now that you said it, I'm recording. Now you have to do it for the fall.
I believe I'm sure that I will do one at least, but I planning to do 3 of them.
Nice. No pressure. But I've been learning from you a lot in a lot of your choreos, and you have a specific style in your dance. Can you describe what are the kind of the main things about your style?
No,
when you
it's
make
kind of
choreos?
hard. I would love to ask you. But in my point of view, what I try to do every time I'm talking about elegancy, yes, that movement, in my point of view, should be elegant. If it's not some experimental, I'm doing really rare experimental dance, but usually it's elegant movement and maybe a little bit flirty. Yes, so it's really like some flirty powder on the top. Also, I like using interesting musicality. I'm not a big fan of just simple counting, 1, 2, 3. I like all this sound behind, but it's really a frame up style of what about. And I like line and shape. So if I want to do something, I'm looking for how should I locate my leg or hands to create a beautiful line, or like, oh, this shape, something unique. I'm an engineer at the end of the day. So I need the lines and shape somewhere, at least in my own style. What do you think? What is significant for my style?
Well, I do agree with the flirty concept because it's not like full blown sexy, but there's always a bit of flirtiness. There is always a bit of turning your back to the viewer. I do agree with that. I think you also like to change levels. You don't just do legs or just do on the floor and stuff. So I think that there is a good amount of variety. But yeah, the flirty, that resonates for me a lot as your style.
Sweet, cute.
Yeah. If you're doing the strip course from zero, what advice would you give for people that are interested in learning the style that have, zero experience?
Start the zero. Start from the basic. Yes. I'm serious. I see some girls is picking up movement and they kind of imitate movement, doesn't really understand the inside, how the movement should be. They elegant, flowy, or opposite sharpie. So I kind of see imitation of the movement, but not movement or dancing the movement itself. So in my point of view, if you're really zero and you like the style, better start from the basic. It can be at the beginning, maybe for some people, too boring because like, oh my God, I know how to sit on the floor, how to lay on the floor, but it's not the same. When you're standing and you're dancing hip hop there, it's totally different world. When you lay, you engage in different muscles. You need to realize how to spread your body weight and not injure yourself. Because I knew some like hip hop dancers took floor classes, and on the next day, it's a lot of bruises. And they're like, how you don't have bruise? Because I know how to do it properly, how to do movements from the basic, you know? So yeah, if you from zero take the basic course, better to take it from people who really know it, like certified frame up teacher or a teacher who really in this style and desire it and love it to death. Yes, who is really taking not just one course, who taking classes constantly. Because I see that every year I'm finding something new in this style, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to take class from the person who did it, or at least who close to the person, so I can take this information. Also, don't rush, because I know people like with the stretching, I want my split in 2 days. Yeah, staying with the flow work. Be patient and take your time. It's not just going in one day. You need to repeat, clean line, do it multiple times to let your body remember in a slow speed, then fast and faster. If you start, just enjoy the process. That's this is really important. Enjoy the process, record yourself, look how it looks, analyze. This is kind of the best way to start.
So what I'm hearing you say is basically technique. Work
Yes,
on your technique.
yes, technique.
Because you can pick up stuff as fast as you want, but if it doesn't look correct and if it doesn't look nice, you lose the impression you want to make.
Absolutely. It's just going to look like, it will not look like you want it. It will not be flowy, it will not be smooth, and it will not be sharpy as you want it, because you can kind of monkey see, monkey do, but it's not exactly, you really not understand which muscle you should engage. Yeah.
No, that's very important, because it's not enough to just show the movements. It's very important to understand what you need to engage when, and basically how to do it safely, as you said
exactly.
as well. Super. Well, I have a set of questions that I'm supposed to expect a quick answer from you. So first question for you. Do you prefer to have boots or sandals?
Sandals. My love sandal. Boots is nice too, but sandals is my first choice.
Sandals is first choice. What height are we talking about?
Right now, 8 inches. I can explain. Sandals, especially matching my skin color, beige, creating longer lines, and my legs really look really long. While boots, even if it's matching color, they kind of shorten my leg in ankle or a little bit higher, in my point of view. And in sandals, easy to point your toes. Way easier than in a...
Did you hear that? She said easy again.
Easy.
All right, next one. Who is your strip dance icon or inspiration?
Right now, I would say 2 people, Irina Patshivalova and Baina Batanova. As I just love Irina. She's so... They both actually, Irina and Baina, they all like trying different style, and they still bringing a lot in strip, frame up, flow work dance, because you need to develop your style to keep it interesting. Yes, if you create something years ago and you just continue repeat again and again, it's going to be boring. But they bringing a lot from different styles, and it's getting more and more interesting, cool, crazy, unique. So for me, if I need my inspiration, if I need something, I'm going to their page and I just watch.
What is a favorite choreo you have learned, or maybe from a project you have
This
joined?
is interesting. Okay, one of the projects which really remarkable for me was Greeks back in 2017. It wasn't Greek, and it was the first time when I took classes from foreigner teachers like Brian Friedman, Mitch Nolan, and all of the people who was legend in the dance world. Yeah, it was really like it when I changed my mind about the dance totally, because I saw the passion, I saw how they teaching. It was really interesting, and I saw how they behave in the classes in real life. And my favorite choreography was pretty personal. It was choreography by Yuratova, and it wasn't even in heel. It was barefoot. It was some Russian song, but really deep meaning, and I was really in it.
Nice. And what is your favorite?
Okay,
your own choreo?
my favorite. I have two. First one is Sam Smith, "Burning." I've been burning.
That's my favorite one. That's my
This is
favorite one too.
lyric, and it's kind of have really deep meaning. In this choreo, I kind of in positive way realized that we are coming and leaving this planet alone. But that at the end of the day, it's just you. Yes, you have yourself. And this kind of cool to realize it. And second one was Eto Deep. When I met my future husband, and it was kind of choreography for him, but in the way how I feel it, like, I don't know how to explain. I dance my feeling. It's really cool when you're dancing, not just some imagined character, when you're dancing what you feel. So yeah, this is two of my favorite.
Nice. So how would you describe strip dance in one word?
Strip dance in one word. One, yeah? Freedom. That's it. Freedom of art, but if it would be one, it will be freedom.
Nice. And what is your own most memorable moment you had as a teacher?
Sure. Tough. Even nowadays, it's kind of the same feeling. Every time when I see that people dancing my choreography with a lot of feeling from inside, not just repeating movement. Yeah, because repeating movements, it's one thing. When people really putting themselves in my choreography, it's giving me goosebumps. Every time it happens, online class, live class, workshops, I'm like, I feel the same. I don't know, it's kind of happy because I am planning things and I see how they're growing. It's amazing feeling. Yeah, so it's still, I have this memorable every time.
Nice. And finally, what's a fun fact about you that your students might not know?
My God, fun fact that my students might know. I may be not so often talking about it, but, and maybe it's going to sound a little bit cheesy, but I want to say that my students are kind of my big inspiration. For example, I never tell you that like I really inspired that you are dancing. Yeah. I really see people who start late or even early, but they really weren't know the style, and in a few months, years, they are dancing and they dancing so cool. It make me not just proud. I'm like, damn God, I want to dance too. More and more. It kind of motivate me more and more.
That's the power of community, right? When you can share with others and get some kind of emotions back, as
Yes.
you mentioned before. What about the thing you're enjoying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, emotions back. Recently, I post some reel in my social media, and I was talking about that it doesn't matter. People can talk about you that, yes, some people tell like, why are you dancing? You're already old or whatever. You're fat. You not flexible, not talented. And I received few messages that people like, damn God, it's really sad to receive this message from your relative or from people who you value, this friend. It kind of make them less motivated, more maybe even shy. In this case, it's really helpful. Your teacher who inspiring you, who supporting and engaging, and the community. I were happy that my parents were really glad. My parents, I love my parents, and I'm really appreciate their support. And as soon as I kind of like bought a flat in engineering job, my mom told me, you can do whatever you want. So I started dancing more, but they every time supporting me. But I saw a lot of girls whose parents, whose friends told them like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, this heels, are you going to work in a strip club or something like this? And in this case, really important, your dance community. I used to call it family, but now I realize it's just a community. But it's really important to feel that you're not alone, that people love this, people do it pretty well, and they support each other. So supporting each other in a community really, really important, because you never know who can send you really unpleasant message. But if you have 100 people behind your back who telling you, great, keep doing, let's do it again, and just one telling you like, what the heck are you doing? Of course, you're going to listen to 100 people and say, I love them. I love what I'm doing. And it's 100 behind me against one. So you just continue, and you will continue to do what you like, not even stopping because somebody tell you that it's bad.
Yeah, I think that's a very important message because, of course, we all have our self-doubts and everything. And this is one thing I really like about you because you're such a positive person. So it's also really nice to have you as a teacher because you're also quite supportive. Even if we, struggle with something and we get angry at ourselves when we cannot do something, you always have quite a positive turn on the things, which was very helpful, at least for me in the start.
Happy. And see, it's work. The main thing is because you can be at the moment, I see myself, I taking another classes, and sometimes I'm just like, done. I hate it. I hate the music. I hate the movement. But I just need to go through it. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. I just need to sleep with this. And if I tell you, I went through it and I'm telling you, just let's do it. Let's change it. Let's do one more time, a little bit different. You're just going through and you see, okay, it's not so irritating. It's work.
Absolutely true. So to wrap things up slowly, is there anything else you want to share with us?
Just kind of want to say that enjoy the project. If you start dancing, enjoy it, because each day, each month, each year is important. You are growing slowly. Don't rush. We set up goal. It's kind of important for me. The goal can be, I want to record a video. I want to go to competition. I want to go to showcase. I want to do my tea. Yeah, anything. Because with a goal, you kind of feel that the process is reaching you to something. So in this case, and still enjoy the process, step by step.
Yeah, you feel the process is worth it if you have a goal and something that's like a carrot in front
exactly.
of you in a way.
And it's not exactly, it shouldn't be some competition, because I know that some people like, oh, I need to compete. No, sometimes you can do just cool videos. Why not? Sometimes you can prepare some dance for showcase in a dance school, and stay healthy. It's important. Let your body recover proper. I want to say, if you want to really dance long and safe, let your body recover, and if you have like access to massages or some therapy, it's amazing. Use it. We need it. Dance on the floor, laying on the floor, different than the standing, and another muscles engage. So at the beginning, you probably can feel, oh my God, my wrist is working. Like in standing position, you not really work on your wrist. Here you can feel the pain, and it's a signal from your body. Listen to your body proper. Don't ignore it. Because I used to be the person who ignored it. Basically, I didn't have time for recovery. And now I'm paying with my knees, weather alarm. If my knees hurt, it means it will be hotter or cold, because I didn't have proper resting time. Yeah. So, and enjoy the proper. Dance is amazing. Flow work, frame up, strip dance doesn't have borders. It's still young. It's still forming. So if you like somebody's style, take classes from the person. If you want to expand your style, take classes from different people. And I encourage every time when teachers not allowing their students to go to another people's classes. For me, it's really weird because student is not my belonging. So I'm really happy to see when my students visiting different classes. They maybe will not came back to me, but I'm happy to see that they develop. It's kind of, I feel the proud that I plant the seed and I see beautiful flowers on the tree growing every year because they continue liking it, developing, improving the style and finding some cool way. And also, if you think, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too young, I'm too skinny, what else? I'm too different, whatever. I'm not suited the dance, but if you want to try. Don't listen to anybody. You'll find people who is going to support you. You find people who love this dance as same as you. So if you're really inspired and if you really see it, just give it a chance. And better not just one, because sometimes after first class, you expecting that you immediately start dancing. Whoa, it's need time. Take your time. Give like first, second chance. After like, let's say month, you already see some improvement and you already can say, oh, I'm good. Yes. And keep going. Yeah. This is my message.
And it's a very good message. Dance is
Yeah,
for everybody.
absolutely. No borders, no frame. That's why it's framed up.
And I will drop in the description of the podcast links to where people can find you, to your social media, to YouTube, so everybody can go and watch these videos for both Sam Smith Burning and the other one.
Actually, I'll put Sam Smith Burning right on the first page in YouTube. So it's going to see them immediately. And also I'm working on my website. Yeah, where they can find all online courses, choreo tutorials, or even sign up for classes if people want it. Finally, I'm doing it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. I learned some new things about you as well, and I hope everybody else did, and everybody found your journey inspiring. Thanks again for being my first guest.
Thank you for inviting. It was really, really cozy. I'm probably nervous before, but now I'm really kind of realized that it's really sweet. It's kind of like friend talk. It's pretty sweet to have this vibe in the conversation in podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this first episode. I hope you enjoyed it and have learned something new from Elena. I hope I will be able to put out these podcasts every 2 weeks, so you can have a look if you want to subscribe and keep on following. And I'm also looking forward to any suggestions for other guests you might have. Thank you all and have a great day.